From time to time when I'm traveling, I will drop into a store called a grocery outlet. Now, these are primarily located throughout California, in Oregon. I've seen them in Washington State, and also, I believe, Arizona, perhaps New Mexico, although I don't remember seeing them in New Mexico. But you never know what you're going to stumble into. And in this case, here we go. Some prime gummy bears. $1.49, $1.50 for a bag of Albanese gummy bears. Can't go wrong with gummy bears. Don't really like gummy worms or gummy this or gummy that, but gummy bears are always a prime issue. Another product that I've noticed at these stores that are significantly marked down would be coffees. Looks like we've got coffees here. This kind of caught my eye a bit. A turkey bar. And it appears to have, well, you know what? They have $4 for a box. Why not? You know? Just why not? And not really into processed pork.
Really?
But cayenne. Oh, it's probably a spicy beef bar. Well, at least well, you know what, why not? We'll go ahead and try this as well. Doesn't hurt to sample a few new things from time to time. In the coffee arena, you know, if you're not up to spending full bore for something like Death Wish, upwards of what, $20 for a bag, I have found that most of these grocery outlets, regardless of where they're at, carry a coffee bean called Two Wise Guys. Two Wise Guys is a very good coffee. Never had one that's in bad condition, if you will, or, you know, this says good if used before April 2020, if I'm reading that correctly. And this would be the dark roast. Yes, whole bean dark roast. And the Two Wise Guys, very good coffee as well. Normally don't get a basket when I'm doing this. They have a wide variety of other coffees, but I just normally don't get a basket because I don't want to really just load up too much from the store. Now this is something that looks interesting as well. Intelligentsia. Direct trade, they're calling it the frequency blend. It's trying to determine if this is a dark roast. Let's take a closer look. And so maybe a little easier to read. Well, not sure exactly what frequency blend means, but we may try this as well, especially at $5 for a small bag. So, again, you just never know what you're going to encounter here, and we'll be checking this in a bit. Well, in part because of that last score, I thought I would drop in this other grocery outlet that I just happened to cross, and the wine selection is usually quite good. Not to mention the beer selection is usually quite good as well. And prices, I'll just let you make your own opinion. And of course there's some unusual brands there, along with the usual and customary. Larger bottles that are a little more popular, at least for me, and even quite a bit of, well, a relatively good selection of spirits. Not sure about the pricing on those, but you know, again, you just never know what you might encounter at these stores, because it's a matter of you know, what happens to come in from an overstock or a similar type of a circumstance. Candy sections and other sections, they have a tendency to vary quite a bit as far as where things are laid out. So it turns into a bit of a treasure hunt, I guess, using the Costco terminology. And you know, again, you just don't know what you might encounter. See if we might have some gummy bears over on this other side. Good selection of natural snacks. Oh, and, well, here we go. Japanese style peanuts. 3 for $1. So this is about, what, 33 cents a piece? Why not? Double up on that. And I think perhaps moving along over to, yeah, I don't see any gummy bears here. There's always an interesting clientele in these stores. And let's see if we can find the, let's see what we've got in the coffee section. That last store, I stumbled into something called Intelligentsia. See if perhaps they've got something similar here. Some of the same brands. Two Wise Guys again, just a personal favorite of mine. Oh, here we go. Intelligentsia. Got the House Blend, or El Diablo Dark Roast at $5 for a pop. As they say, why not? Now, another aspect of this store is there is usually a relatively healthy section of organics. You know, if that's your cup of tea or kind of thing. And again, you just never really know what you might stumble into. Sprouted sunflower seeds. I scored those a while back. Those are actually quite good. Baked crunchy cinnamon banana chips at 99 cents, usually $4. So this is a prime example of what can be had. So again, grocery outlet, and they're in a number of states in the western region, and I think 1 or 2 states on the East Coast. So the treasure hunt continues. Upon return from the outing from today and the virtual scores at the grocery outlet locations, I thought it might as well be fitting to possibly open up a couple of the packages to actually inspect them for content and quality. And came upon this. It's been chilled for a while. The Innocent Gun beer. It's an oak-aged beer. I've had this tucked away for a while, and thought, you know, what better time than to go ahead and open it. This was bottled in 2015, so we can only hope that it did age well. By the way, this was not a grocery outlet store score. This was, I'm trying to recall where it was acquired, but definitely not at that location. It just happened to be tucked away for a while. So we've chilled out the double-walled. Oh wow, got a great foamy head coming up there. So this appears to have stored well. It didn't go flat. It's not gone flat from what's probably been about 1.5 to 2 years of being tucked away. And while I let that settle down just a bit, and I'll add to it as I can, let's step into well, some of the snacks first. The Taline Japanese style peanuts. The candid aspect of this is that these are actually made in Mexico. So it's a Japanese style peanut. And I gotta say, from prior experience, you cannot go wrong with these if you like peanuts and a little crunchy texture to them. I will toss a few or several bags of these into my go bag, and of course depending on availability. And you know, as you can see, it's a peanut that's encased in a, I have to say, probably a candy-like shell. And that helps illustrate what the actual product is. And pretty darn tasty. Next on the list is the Albanese gummy bears. Like gummy bears, don't like many other things that are gummy. And at this location for the desk, we've got the tiki storage guy, and well, there we go. Some Japanese crackers. Tuck those aside and finish them off here very soon. As gummy bears go, the Albanese, quite good. And we'll just fill up his dome with the, looks like we're going to exceed capacity. So, tuck those guys in. And gummy bears are, you know, not deformed in any way. Nice, tasty gummy bears. Great little tuck away place so that guests don't necessarily liberate your snacks before you get an opportunity to enjoy them yourself. Now, last on the snack lineup are these Bear crunchy, in this case, a banana chip with cinnamon coating. Kind of sound like poker chips inside. These are non-GMO and certified as such. Kind of a high carbohydrate content. Ooh, 28 grams per serving, and it looks like 30 grams or a half cup is a serving for this. So a little high on the carb side. So just, wow, they do sound like poker chips. Of course, they don't look like it at all. And for what it's worth, the subjective aspect of those is quite tasty. Let's jump into coffee now. This is a coffee that I'm already familiar with, the Two Wise Guys coffee. This is the, I think this is the Honduran Rainforest Alliance. This would be the dark roast. That's just my personal preference. I've already taken the liberty to toss some of these into a canister. And let's drop this down just as a background instead of the gray. And the coffee beans have a slight oily sheen. And I just haven't gone wrong with the Two Wise Guys. Now, you know, normally, you know, if you prefer something like a Death Wish, that's all well and fine, but at $10 for 24 ounces, yeah, 24 ounces, and it was $10 for 24 ounces. You really can't go wrong with this, especially if you end up on a budget, and we all do end up on a budget from time to time. Well, it was well worth saving, the Innocent Gun. Don't know if this is still available anywhere, much less anywhere I may be right now. Now, getting to this Intelligentsia. This is last on our list. This is something new for me. I took the liberty to go to their website. These bags each retail for $15, directly from the factory or directly from the company. These bags were, if I recall, $5. I've already popped open the El Diablo, and I've got to say that this seal technique is appreciated, especially if you're not going to go through your beans very quickly. If you have to use their factory seal as your primary container. So this is going to be the El Diablo Dark Roast. These were roasted just a few months ago. The El Diablo Dark Roast has kind of a brown, tannish brown color to it. We'll isolate that. And then as an example of the sealing technique, this would be the frequency blend. And again, it's direct trade. It's going through all of the typical social protocols. But this little pull tab, a lot of us are familiar with different types of pull tabs. Pops this open and completely removes, separates, and then you've got the Ziploc type seal on the inside. Now the El Diablo Dark Roast, well, these have kind of an interesting, yeah, comparing this frequency blend to the El Diablo Dark Roast. Let's see if I can get this situated so that you can get a little closer view. The beans are about the same color in the roast. That is, if color in a roast has anything to do with each other. However, the frequency along the split section of the bean appears a very pale tan, almost a creamy whitish color compared to the dark roast. So maybe that's part of the difference in the roasting, but the beans otherwise pretty similar in texture. Not much of an oily sheen to these, and frankly I don't know if they would have been more oily if they had been just roasted a few days ago. I doubt it. I mean, these were vacuum sealed bags, but anyhow, there you go, the Intelligentsia. And haven't had a chance to brew any of that up yet, but we'll be getting around to that. And otherwise, I'll be finishing off this innocent gun. So, with that in mind, salute.